Hi, Riri here. So, today's topic of discussion is I'd say connection and loneliness while solo traveling. Also, I realize my stuff is crooked on my wall. Anyways, because yesterday I had 3 different topics of discussion regarding connection and relationships. So I thought today I'd talk about, loneliness and connection. The connection and longing for connection while solo traveling. And not trying so hard while traveling. But that's just me. Even though people say that it's easy for me to connect with people. They always say, Rio, it's so easy for you to connect with people. You don't have trouble connecting people with people, you know? But, yeah. In the grand scheme of things, it's only human nature to want to connect. It's innate to find our soulmate, to find love, platonic or not. We yearn for connection. We yearn for love. We yearn for touch, intimacy, all of that. Now, when you're solo traveling, you yearn for that triple the amount. And it's hard to, especially when you're plucked from obscurity, you know? And it's hard because you're uncomfortable, you don't know how to mingle sometimes, and it's hard to gauge when you're in a new setting every time. It's also hard when you're rocked from a routine every 2 days, and it's just hard on the body, on the mind. And you have the same script. Where are you from? How old are you? What's your name? What do you do for work? It gets tiresome. And like I said in my last video, when I say put yourself out there, it's true. It takes practice by putting yourself out there, and it's very scary. But that's how you connect. That's how you learn to get out there. And that's how you fight the loneliness. But people long to be with someone, whether you're finding friendship, or you're finding love, or you're finding whatever you want. And I noticed this especially in Japan. But mind you, my intention during travels was not to find anything. I was just there to travel anywhere I went during this trip. Any trip. And like I said, it was everything happened unexpectedly because I didn't expect anything. Everything I do, I have no expectations. Not because I'm jaded, not because I have zero hopes or I'm not hopeful. It's because I don't want to expect anything. I'd rather have no expectations, and I just never expect anything. I never ever expect anything. From anything, from anyone, from any situation. And I try not to assume anything as well. Not that I'm a pessimistic or pragmatic or anything. It's just, I just don't. I'm optimistic. I just go with the flow, is what I'm saying. I don't expect anything. But what I'm trying to say is connection, meeting new people. It comes from loneliness sometimes when you're traveling. And I've met a lot of people, especially traveling Japan. And majority of them said that Tokyo is the loneliest city, being the biggest city, but the loneliest city. And when they said that, and again, majority of them have said this to me, I was shocked. I was super, super shocked when they said that to me. Because I found it not the loneliest city. I found it the funnest, I found it the most intriguing, and I loved it. It embraced me, and I wasn't scared at all. Meanwhile, a lot of people that I met backpacked Asia, backpacked the world, said to me that Tokyo was one of the loneliest or scariest, and like they didn't expect it. They just thought it would be way more fun and social and not as lonely as they thought. There's this goddamn fly flying around. Anyways. And I thought I'd ask the same question to the locals, and the locals even said the same thing. They said that Tokyo, they found very lonely, they found very lonely, scary and lonely too. Because it's big. Because people keep to themselves in this big city. And I was really shocked to hear that. Where smaller cities like Kyoto and Osaka, people are more tightly knit, are friendlier. It makes sense now that they explain it that way. But in Tokyo, It's bigger, brighter, it's scarier. People keep to themselves, which in turn is lonelier. But then people, like the locals and my people that I met, they're like, you don't feel lonely. I could tell you don't feel lonely. But you don't have a lonely persona. And a local said that to me. I was like, what? They're like, you don't have a lonely persona. I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, you're not lonely. I'm like, what makes you say that? They're like, you do not have a lonely personality. You get by very quickly. And I think it's your personality. You're very outgoing. You find your resources very quickly. And I'm like, listen, as outgoing as I may seem, I dislike people very much. And I am quite reserved if I need to be. And I need to charge myself if I'm surrounded. I need my time as well. I can't be around people as often as I need to, like, as it seems like. And I remember there was this time my girls, who are often used to social hostels, they were really adamant about finding social hostels. And they just couldn't find a social hostel in Tokyo. So they kept jumping to social hostels. And they're like, I can't seem to find a social hostel in Tokyo. They all seem to be very quiet or boring, or it wasn't hitting. It just wasn't hitting. And sometimes some hostels just don't hit. And they were surprised. Like, they thought that in Tokyo it would be more sociable. And then they were wondering what I was doing, and I'm like, I'm having a time. I'm meeting locals, I'm meeting new people. I'm coming home. I'm actually not coming home. I've been partying, or I've been out. I'm just getting back to my hostel now. And they were wondering, they're like, how are you meeting these people? Or how is your hostel so social? And I'm like, my hostel's not social. And I'm meeting all these locals, or I'm just going out by myself and I'm meeting these people. And they're like, how are you having such a good time? And I realized when I, again, surrendered and I just tried to let it come to me, that's when things started to align. I wasn't looking. I was not looking. And it's when times when I do not look and I don't force things, that's when things come to me. And I learned that the hard way. I learned that in a past relationship. When I was forcing something, it wasn't coming. The love wasn't there. And when I stepped back and I said, you know what? I'm done. That's when everything came to me. And that's with a job, that's with friendship, that's with, I don't know, anything and everything. Everything comes to me when I don't force it. When there's resistance, I'm not going to bother. No. Why? Why am I trying when there's resistance? But then, when I let go and I just let things flow, it all comes to me. And that's when alignment. Again, when I surrender, things come. Yeah. And that was like majority of me fighting the battle of loneliness. when I accepted the loneliness, there was no more loneliness. I sat with the loneliness, and it was amazing. Amazing in the sense that you learn more about yourself than anything. And then when you learn your lesson about loneliness and about yourself, the universe will be like, okay, you learned what you needed to learn, I got you. And then the red carpet comes through. Yeah. But yeah, I was shocked to find and hear about that about Tokyo. But I loved it so much. I don't know if this talk made any sense, but it's just me blabbing. And the moral of the story is, I don't know. Just sit with yourself, sit with the loneliness, and in terms of connection, people get lonely while solo traveling, and it's okay. It's only human nature to feel loneliness. But where loneliness is, it's you find yourself. And accept loneliness as a good thing sometimes. You can't run away from yourself all the time. People think that traveling is you running away from all your problems, but when you're solo traveling, you can't run away from yourself. You gotta face yourself. You gotta face yourself even more when you're solo traveling, so yeah. Okay. Ciao.